All right, put your hands together for Ian Oldman. Goddamn. All right. Does anyone know who he was? Rosie?
David Tell?
Clap for Rosie, she got one right. I guess we're having a contest now. You guys have to keep your own score and there's no prize. So I was trying to think what I could do between sets to keep this going in an interesting way regarding the theme. And I was just so surprised that nobody picked this next guy. That, like, his jokes are so short. Just, you guys would be okay if I just read 3 of his jokes between each set, right? Would you guys be alright with that?
Yeah.
Alright. Let me get in character. Let's pretend I came up here. Ian Oldman, put your hands together for him. Yeah. Hey, I like an escalator, man, because an escalator can never break. It can only become stairs. There would never be an escalator temporarily out of order sign. Only escalator, temporarily stairs. Sorry for the convenience. My belt holds up my pants, and my pants have loops that hold up the belt. What the fuck's really going on down there? Who's the real hero? My friend asked me if I wanted a frozen banana, but I said no, but I want a regular banana later, so yeah. Alright, I'm gonna bring up your next comic. Everybody keep it going for Trevor Stewart.
It's really good to be here. I didn't have time to memorize mine, so I'm going to be on script this evening. I was doing 16 days of a 15-day vacation at Central Virginia Regional Resort.
Is that what it's called?
Yes. And it's a lot of fun. You should try it sometime. You know, actually, everybody told me that when I got on the block, and actually I want to shout out to my homies on iBlock, what up, y'all? They told me that when I got on the block, there would be somebody there who was psychotic and crazy, and I really just shouldn't even talk to that person. I got there, I looked around, and everybody looked normal to me. They're looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm off my meds. So in honor of that, I decided to do this this song, but it's not really a song, it's a story, because I'm not going to sing. I'm going to speak, and it's called Alice's Restaurant, but that's not the name of the restaurant, that's the name of the song, I mean the story. It's you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in and it's around back, just a half mile from the railroad track. Now, this all started about 2 Thanksgivings ago. It was on 2 years ago on Thanksgiving when my friend and I went up to visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice don't live in the restaurant. She lives in the church behind the restaurant, Bell Tower, with her husband and Ray, and Fosh the dog. And living in the Bell Tower like that, they got a lot of room downstairs where the pews used to be in. Having all that room, seeing as how they took all the pews out, they decided they didn't have to take out the garbage for a long time. We got there, we found all the garbage in there, and we decided it'd be a friendly gesture for us to take the garbage out of the city dump. So we took half a ton of garbage, put it in the back of a VW bus, took shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed down to the city dump. Well, we got there was a big sign chain across the dump saying closed on Thanksgiving, and we had never heard of dump closed on Thanksgiving before. Tears in our eyes, we drove off into the sunset looking for another place to put the garbage. But we didn't find one until we came to a side road, and off the side road there was a 15-foot cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff there was another pile of garbage, and we decided that one big pile was better than 2 little piles, and rather than bring up the one pile, we decided to throw ours down, and that's what we did. And we drove on back to the church, had Thanksgiving dinner, it couldn't be beat. Went to sleep, didn't get up until the next morning when we got a phone call from Officer Obie, and he said, "Hey kid, we found your name on an envelope at the bottom of a half a ton of garbage. Just wanted to know if you had any information about it." And then I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obie, I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under that garbage." After speaking to Obie about 45 minutes on the telephone, we finally arrived at the truth of the matter and said we had to go down and pick up the garbage, and also had to go on down to speak to him at the police officer station. So we got in a red VW microbus with shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed on toward the police officer station. Now, friends, there were only one or two things that Obi could have done at the police station. And the first is he could have given us a medal for being so brave and so honest on the telephone, which wasn't very likely and we didn't expect. And the other thing is he could have bawled us out and told us never to be seen driving garbage around the vicinity again, which is what we expected. But when we got to the police officer station, there was a third possibility that we hadn't even counted on. And we was both immediately arrested and handcuffed. And I said, Obi, I don't think I can pick up garbage with these handcuffs on. He said, shut up, kid, get in the back of the patrol car. And that's what we did. Sat in the back of the patrol car, drove down to, quote, scene of the crime, unquote. And I want to tell you about the town of Palmyra, Virginia, where this happened to me. They got there, 3 stop signs, 2 police officers, 1 police car, but when we got to the scene of the crime, there were 5 police officers, 3 police cars, being the biggest crime in the last 50 years. Everybody wanted to get in the newspaper story. And they was using up all kinds of cop equipment they had hanging on down at the police officer station. They were taking plaster tire tracks, footprints, dog smell prints, and they took 27 8x10 colored, gauzy photographs with circles and arrows and paragraphs on the back of each one explaining what was to be used against us in evidence. Took the pictures, he approached the getaway in the northeast corner, southeast corner, and that's not to mention the aerial photography. After the ordeal, we went back to the jail. Obi said he was going to put us in a cell. I said, kid, I'm going to put you in a cell. I want your wallet and your belt. I said, Obi, I can understand you want my wallet, so I don't have any money to spend in the cell, but what do you want my belt for? And he said, kid, we don't want any hangings. I said, Obi, do you think I was going to hang myself with littering? Obi said he was just making sure. Friends, Obi, he sure was, because he took the toilet seat, so I couldn't hit myself over the head and drown. He took out the toilet paper so I couldn't bend the bars and roll the roll out the window with the toilet paper and slide down the roll and have an escape. Obi was making sure, and it was about 4 or 5 hours later that Alice, remember Alice, this is the story about Alice. Alice came by with a few nasty words for Obi on the side, bailed us out of jail, and we went back to the church and had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beaten. Didn't get up till the next morning when we all had to go to court. We walked in, sat down. Obi came in with 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows, paragraph on each. Sat down, man, said, all rise. We stood up, and Obi stood up, 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures, and the judge walked in, sat down with a CNI dog, and he sat down, and we sat down, and Obi looked at the CNI dog, and then at the 27 8x10 colored glossy photo pictures with the circles and arrows and paragraph on the back one, and he looked at the CNI dog and then at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and the arrows and the paragraph on each one, and he began to cry. Because Obi came to the realization that this was a typical case of American blind justice, and there wasn't nothing he could do about it, and the judge wasn't going to look at the 27 colored glossy pictures with the circles and the arrows and the paragraph on each one explaining that what was to be used as evidence against us, and we was fined $50 and I had to pick up the garbage and the snow. But that's not what I came to tell you about. I came to talk about the draft. I got to a building they got a building down in New York City called Whitehall Street. And when you walk in, you get injected, inspected, detected, infected, neglected, and neglected. And I got down to my physical examination one day, and I walked in, I sat down and got good and drunk. And of course, I looked my best and felt my best when I came in that morning, because I wanted to look like the all-American kid from New York City. And I wanted to feel like I wanted to be the all-American kid from New York. And I walked in, sat down, was hung down, brung down, hung up, and all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things. And I walked in and I sat down, and they gave me a piece of paper and said, kid, go see the psychiatrist in room 604. And I went up there and I said, shrink, I want to kill. I want to kill. I want to see blood and gore and guts and veins in my teeth and eat dead burnt bodies. And I mean kill, kill, kill. And I started jumping up and down yelling kill, kill, kill. And he started jumping up and down yelling kill, kill, kill. And we was both jumping up and down yelling kill, kill, kill. And the sergeant came over and pinned a medal on me and said, knee down the hall and said, well, you're our boy. I didn't feel too good about that. Proceeded on down the hall, getting more injections, inspections, detections, neglections, and all kinds of stuff that they was doing to me, and things that they were there. And I was there for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and I was there for a long time, going through all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things, and I was just having a tough time there, and they was inspecting and injecting every single part of me, and they was leaving no part untouched. Proceeded through, and when I finally came to see the last man, I walked in, sat down, whole big thing there, and I walked up and he said, what do you want? And he said, kid, we only got one question. Have you ever been arrested? and I proceeded to tell him the story of Alice's restaurant massacre with full orchestration, 5-part harmony and stuff like that, and all the phenom, and he stopped me right there and said, "Kid, you ever go to court?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of the 27 8x10 color glossy pictures with the circles and the arrows and the paragraph on the back of each one. He stopped me right there and said, "Kid, I want you to go sit down on a bench that says Group W. Now, kid." And I walked over to the bench there, and there it is. Group W is where I put me, where they put you if you may not be moral enough to join the army after committing your special crime. And there were all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking people on the bench there. Mother rapers, father stabbers, father rapers sitting right there on the bench next to me, and they was mean and nasty and ugly and horrible crime-type guys sitting on the bench next to me. And the meanest, ugliest, nastiest one, the meanest father raper of all, was coming over to me and saying, "Mean, nasty, ugly." He said, "Kid, what'd you get?" And I said, "I didn't get nothing. They made me pay $50 to pick up the garbage. And he said, "What are you arrested for, kid?" And I said, "Littering." And they all moved away from me on the bench there and gave me the hairy eyeball and all kinds of mean, nasty things. So I said, "And creating a nuisance." And they all came back and shook my hand, and we all had a great time on the bench talking about crime, mother, stab, father, rape, and all kinds of group things. And then we was talking about on the bench, and everything was fine. We were smoking cigarettes and all kinds of things, and until the sergeant came over, and he had some paper in his hand, and he held it up, and he said, "What good thing you want to say?" And talked for 45 minutes, and nobody understood a word that he said. But we had fun filling out the forms and playing with the pencils on the bench there, and I filled out the massacre with 4-part harmony and wrote it down all there just like it was, and everything was fine. I put down the pencil and turned over the piece of paper there, and on the other side, in the middle of the other side, away from everything else on the other side, in parentheses, capital letters, quotated, read the following words: "Have you rehabilitated yourself?" And I went over to the sergeant and I said, "Sergeant, you've got a lot of damn gall. Ask me if I rehabilitated myself. I'm sitting here on the bench. I'm sitting here on a Group W bench because you want to know if I'm moral enough to join the army, burn women, kids, houses, villages after being a litter bug." He looked at me and said, "Kid, we don't like your kind, and we're going to send your fingerprints off to Washington. And friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in some little folder is a study in black and white of my fingertips." The only reason I'm singing this song, telling you this story now, is because somebody you know may be in a similar situation, or you may have a similar situation, and if you do, there's only one thing you can do, and walk right into the shrink or wherever you are and just say, "Shrink, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant." And walk out. You know, one person does it, just one, they may think he's really sick and they won't take him. And if 2 people do it in harmony, they may think that they're fey and won't take him anyway. And 3 people do it, well then it's an organization, and if 50 people are doing it, I said 50 people a day are walking into singing bar Alice's restaurant and walking out, then they think it's a movement. And that's what it is. It's the Alice's Restaurant Anti-Massacre Movement. Thank you all.
Hell yeah, give it up for Trevor Stewart. The Odyssey of comedy.